It's gonna be a stupidly long video, so lock in. Look, sometimes you're the only person who is going to make a video, and so it simply demands that you make it. I'm here answering life's most important questions, okay? Let me clue you in on a neat little fun fact here. As of right now, there are exactly 13 officially recognized Disney princesses. There have also been exactly 13 members of the Ninjago Ninja team over their lifetime. And so they simply demand to be matched. If fate didn't want it to happen, it wouldn't be so perfect. I know there's probably like 5 other people who care about both of these franchises as much as I do. The rest of you are probably just mainly here from one side or the other, and that's great. We're glad to have you here. I will do my best to try and not leave too many of you too far behind, but I'm gonna be real, I make no promises about that. There's a lot of weeds to get into in both of these franchises. But we are going to be taking this seriously, okay? This isn't like just a fun little thing. Like I did research for this one. If you're down in the comments right now like, oh my gosh, Zane is so Elsa, then like you misunderstand what we're doing here. Yes, Zane and Elsa both have ice powers, but that is the thing I am least interested in for this video. Plus, Elsa is technically not a Disney princess. Frozen is an entirely separate brand from the Disney princess brand because they're too big a deal, so she does not count towards our 13 princesses for the purposes of this video. We've been over this on this channel before. This is the kind of stuff you gotta keep up with. I will be pairing off my ladies today based on a multitude of factors, including personality, themes, story beats, cultural significance, and glitter levels. But most importantly, vibes. Just general vibes. I am looking for which two give off the most similar energy. Now, that is a very subjective observation, so a lot of this video is by necessity going to be running off of my personal understanding and interpretation of these characters, so just keep that in mind. Important to note, my assignment here is to pair up each of these characters with a parallel in the other group. Meaning, first of all, no repeats, obviously. But I also need to take into account these characters' roles in their respective groups. It may sound confusing, but I promise you, it'll start making sense once we get into it. Now, before we start, it's probably best that we go over our list of candidates so that everyone knows who we're working with, huh? Welcome everybody to Princess Ninja 101. This is a quick prerequisite before we get into the video. If you are extremely familiar with just the Disney princesses or the Ninjago Ninja and you want to skip around, there should be timestamps in the description. And if you're extremely familiar with both, let's be real, you're gonna watch this segment anyway because this is right up your alley. Snow White is our first of our Disney princesses. She's the one with the 7 dwarves. Her villain is the evil queen. She bites the poisoned apple and then like falls asleep or into a sleep death or something like that. She ends up in the glass coffin and then gets kissed awake. She's known for being a homemaker. She stumbles upon the 7 dwarves' dilapidated cottage and decides to clean it all up. This is also the princess most known for her crazy high singing voice. I would say she is most likely to be coming home every month with a new grand romantic sob story about some guy who dumped her. She pours her heart out very quickly into people, and you know, sometimes that doesn't work out very well.
I'm awfully sorry. I didn't mean to frighten you.
Next up, we have Cinderella. This is the one with the evil stepmother and the evil stepsisters. The fairy godmother, the glass slipper, she goes to the ball. From her movie, you may also know Jacques and Gus. Gus, the little mice.
Racket, Gus, Gus.
There are 2 straight-to-DVD sequels, but those are less important for this video. Honestly, I think her characterization in the second movie is kind of whack, and I'll be ignoring it entirely.
I'm going to plan this banquet my way.
Most likely in a group discussion to just be nodding along like, yeah, No, I liked that too. The last of our classic three is Aurora. You may also know her as Sleeping Beauty. That's the main thing you'll probably know her for, is pricking her finger on a spinning wheel and falling asleep. This is the one with the three fairies. This is also where Maleficent comes from, one of the classic Disney villains. That's this movie. She is also our other kissed awake princess. Fun fact, she has the least screen time of any of our princesses, but she does a lot with what she has.
No, I'm really not supposed to speak to strangers, but we've met before.
She is the popular girl in movies where the popular girl actually turns out to be quite like chill and nice. Like she's your friend and she's great, but she is also better than you. Ariel, the first of our Renaissance princesses. She is the mermaid princess. You may know her friends Sebastian, Flounder, or Scuttle. Her main villain is Ursula, who she trades her voice to get legs with. She has the whole "Daddy, I love him" line, which is Daddy, I love him! Which is great. She has a bunch of extended universe content. There's sequels, there's a TV show, apparently. Our characterization is going to primarily come from her debut film, The Little Mermaid from 1989. She is most likely in the group to throw a party, which goes horribly wrong. She's gonna wanna set up events to hang out with her friends, but she also does not have the focus or the logistics skill set in order to pull off a party where everything runs smoothly. Moving on to Belle. You may also know her as Beauty from Beauty and the Beast. She's the one who likes books and ends up in the haunted castle with the magic rose and of course the Beast. You may also know her from the opening number titled after her, which is one of the most famous opening musical numbers, at the very least in movie musical history, if not musical history, period.
Bonjour! 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 Bonjour!
I need 6 eggs, that's too expensive. She has 2 sequels, which I think everybody agrees kinda sucks. So again, we're gonna be leaning on her debut film from 1991. She is the humanities major who does not want to date you. Enough said. Now, Jasmine, you'll probably know her as the one who wears a crop top. It feels weird to reduce her down to that, but that is the thing that she's known for. She wears pants, she wears a crop top. What is happening? You'll also probably know her from A Whole New World, which is her main musical number. A whole new world. She's the daughter of the Sultan. She has Raja the Tiger, who you also might know. Her signature line, I think, is the whole, "I am not a prize to be won."
I am not a prize to be won.
Aladdin does have 2 sequels where she's portrayed pretty much the same, so I guess you can lump those in with our discussion today. She is the pretty girl who just dominates everyone at volleyball. Like, I don't know why that's the vibes coming off of her, but that's definitely the vibes coming off of her, right? Now, let's talk about Pocahontas. She is the one princess who is based on a historical figure, a recent historical figure. She's based off the legend more so than the real person, but also then a lot of real history does get wrapped up in the story, so you'll probably know her from, again, her song, Colors of the Wind.
Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon?
She's also the one with the love story. You have this whole epic Romeo and Juliet style romance between her and John Smith, which is not based in any history whatsoever.
If you're trying not to draw attention, why not go with something like John Smith?
From Pocahontas? Yeah, way to fly under the radar.
And then in the sequel film, it develops into a love triangle with John Rolfe, the 2 Johns, who she did actually marry in real life. And as a side note, I'm living for it. I'm living for the dynamic between the 2 Johns and Pocahontas. I would watch a whole other movie of these 3 doing some adventure together.
This is insane. Nuts. Tell her she's crazy.
You're crazy.
We'll be using both her debut film, Pocahontas from 1995, and the sequel, Pocahontas 2, Journey to the New World from 1998. I would say that she is most likely to silence a room when she walks into it. She has a very definite presence about her. I think she might be the tallest Disney princess. Mulan is our next Disney princess. She's the one who joins the army in disguise. You'll also probably know Mushu, her sidekick dragon character. Her big song is Reflection.
When will my reflection show?
She is mainly known for being our epic action non-princess. She is not royalty. She does not marry into royalty. She just is awesome, and so that's why she got invited into the Disney Princess Club, and we love her for that. I would say she is your smart friend in college who like aces all their classes, seems to have endless talents, but also is an undeclared major because they just haven't figured out what connects to their soul yet, you know? Tiana, you will know her. She is the frog princess from Princess and the Frog. That one's her. You'll also probably know her for wanting to open a restaurant. That's her whole thing. She's a bit of a workaholic about it. In fact, about everything. She is our most modern princess in that her story takes place most recently in the 1920s in New Orleans. You may also know her main villain, Dr. Facilier, and his whole song, Friends on the Other Side.
And I got friends on the other side.
I would say she is the most mom princess in that she's gonna make sure everybody's eaten enough, everybody's drinking water, but also she knows how to keep folks in line and we respect her for it. Next up, we have Rapunzel. She's the one with the crazy long blonde magic hair. She's trapped in a tower. She wants to go see the lanterns. She gets found by Flynn Rider, AKA Eugene Fitzherbert.
All right, Blondie.
Rapunzel.
Gesundheit.
We're gonna be taking her characterization from, of course, the 2010 Tangled, but maybe even more so the Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure series, which started in 2017.
All right, people of Corona got a problem? Consider it solved.
The characterization isn't too different, it's just that the TV show gives you a lot more to work with. I would say she is the character most likely to suggest that everybody do a craft together. She's already made friendship bracelets for everyone, and she wants to organize some sort of a Bob Ross night where everybody can paint and have fun together.
Time for Operation Make Stuff.
Merida! Now, Merida is interesting because she is our one Pixar princess. It's the Scottish movie with all of the bears in it. That's the one. You'll probably also know her for her hair, which was famously difficult to animate, and her archery skills, which are featured predominantly throughout the film and have become a large marketing point for her.
A princess does not place her weapons on the table.
Mom, it's just my bow.
Merida, I think, is the princess most likely to bet on something. Like, she has a bet going with at least half of the other princesses at any given point in time. She's addicted to challenge and she loves the opportunity to prove somebody wrong. Moana! You will know Moana as the one who is friends with the ocean and with Maui. You'll also probably know her I Want song, How Far I'll Go.
How far it goes.
We will be pulling her characterization from her debut film in 2016, but also the theatrical sequel from 2024 that introduces some key concepts like her little sister and her becoming the greatest wayfinder. There's some name that they have for it, but there was the past guy and she's gonna be the next one, and I'm not gonna remember.
How people's first told tie in 1,000 years.
Moana gives the best hugs out of any of the Disney princesses. I don't know why. I feel fairly certain. And our last princess, Raya. The thing you're gonna know Raya for is that her movie is the one with the Aquafina dragon.
I'm gonna be real with you, all right? I'm not like the best dragon.
It's that one. She's doing cool ninja stuff from the time she's a child. She's the only one of our princesses which exists in an entirely fictional universe. Like, everybody else is on Earth, but just with magic. She's someplace entirely different. Her story, she's got this whole plot line with her friend Namari, who she befriends as a child, but then betrays her, and so there's like a war between their kingdoms, and she's maybe evil, but then maybe she realizes the error of her ways and wants to come help Raya again. You'll also probably know that she has a cool hat and a cool sword. I would say she is the friend who just has a bunch of like random bruises and scratches and scars all over her body, and she's just like, oh yeah, I don't really remember how I got that one. All right, moving right along, let's talk about our Ninjago Ninja. Let's start out with Master Wu. He is the leader of the ninja team. He is the first character that we see in the entire show. He is the son of the first Spinjitzu master, which is kind of like God in this universe, but recently there's been gods above gods, so it's kind of hard to parse. The thing to know about this guy is he is constantly keeping secrets. If the writers need conflict, well, it turns out that Wu has something about his past that he has yet to tell the ninja about, which is now suddenly rearing its head again.
Yes, okay, yes, I admit it all.
As of Dragon's Rising, he's kind of ambiguously gone, but he's also trapped somewhere now. Like, we don't entirely know what's up with him. To sum him up shortly, Wu is the ninja most likely to gaslight you. Next up, we have Kai. A lot of our ninja are going to have elemental powers attached to them. Kai's is fire. He is appropriately the hothead of the group dynamic.
I'm fired up!
He is our main character in the pilots and also our point of view character for the first 2 seasons. He has a younger sister, Nia, who we'll be seeing later on the list. And he also has a on-again, off-again romance with this character, Skylar.
Skylar? I called her. You had her number?
He is the ninja most likely to help you make a burn book. If you decide that you don't like someone, Kai immediately hates them as well and is looking for ways to destroy them. Next up, we have Cole, the Earth Ninja. You may know him from the Alive But Gay meme. That's his probably biggest feature at this point. He is the level head of the group. A lot of people like to say that he was the leader early on. He likes cake and naps.
Cake.
Focus, Cole.
But that being said, he is the physically strongest of the bunch. He's our group muscle. I would say Cole is most likely of the ninja to say, or we could not. And like when he says that, he has a point. Moving along to Jay. Jay is our lightning ninja. He is, especially in the early show, our comic relief character. It's not an idiot type comic relief. It is a loudmouth type comic relief.
That'll be totally impossible to get at because the thing is too ridiculously huge.
He is a team inventor. He's also a total nerd.
Oh my gosh.
He also has a very extensive romantic plot line with Nia. They get together in season 1. There's a love triangle with Cole, and it all comes to a doesn't work out with Cole because Jay loses all of his memories. I would say he is most likely of the group to cleverly talk himself out of something before messing up and immediately talking himself back into it. Zane! Zane is our ice ninja. He also goes by the titanium ninja because he is titanium, because he is a robot.
We have our very own Nindroid.
He is a very autistically coded character, especially in those early seasons.
Yeah, I do think he's on the spectrum, man. He's written that way.
He has some of the most iconic moments in the show. You may know him from his True Potential episode where he finds out that he's a robot, or from his death sequence at the end of season 3. Don't worry, he does come back. He then goes on to like die about a dozen more times throughout the series. I'm not even exaggerating. Also important to mention, his love interest is Pixel. We'll be getting to her later on the list. He is the one in the group who's most likely to be driving the car and to also stop and go, all right, is everybody wearing their seatbelts? Lloyd! Lloyd is the green ninja. He is our main character, meaning the world constantly needs him specifically to save it for whatever reason. He's the life ninja. He was also the golden ninja, but mainly he's just the green ninja. He starts out as a little kid. He's the son of the main villain of those first 2 seasons, Garmadon, who is the son of the first Spinjitzu master, which of course makes Lloyd the grandson of God, essentially. Through magic shenanigans, he ages up from short Lego legs to big Lego legs, whatever that means. In later seasons, he has a weirdly messy love life.
We truly are kindred spirits.
You're a wolf? I mean, A girl?
Also important to note, he's kind of taken on Wu's role in Dragon's Rising as the new leader of this new generation of ninja. He is most likely of the group to politely smile through the pain. He's gonna just suck it up and be like, no, this is great. Nia, we have a female character. Nia is our water ninja, but before she was the water ninja, she was Samurai X. She saw all the boys going on missions and was like, I wanna go too. So she takes on this alias, Samurai X, which very quickly gets found out.
You're the samurai?
It was always a boys' club.
There is still a bit of a separation, so her eventually becoming the water ninja was a very crucial step for her character development.
You must train to become the master of water.
I've got to at least remind you about Kai and Jay.
But what about my sister? We're saving a girl?
She deals with a lot of sexism, both in universe and out of universe. She is a very 2010s girl power type character.
I hate it when people call me cute.
She's got a short temper and she's very in your face. I would say she is most likely to remember that thing that you messed up like 7 years ago and is still holding on to it because you technically haven't apologized yet. It's time to talk about Pixel. She is Zane's love interest. She is a robotic assistant. He just instantly falls in love with her and even gives up half of his heart in order to keep her alive. It's very sweet. They love each other very much. They are very cute.
We are compatible.
Yes.
After Nia becomes the water ninja, somebody has to become Samurai X, and it's Pixel. She's pretty much the only reason that the team is functional in the redesign era.
Thank you, Pixel. We would have literally been toast without you.
She is the one most likely to have whatever item you happen to need on her at any given moment. Aaron! We are now moving into our next generation of ninja introduced in Dragon's Rising. He is a very soft, sunshiny character with a lot of perseverance.
Maybe we're falling into a stereotype about scary skeleton monsters. It could be friendly.
His whole thing is that he taught himself how to do spinjitzu, which is the like tornado fighting that they do in the show. No one's ever done that before. Everyone's always had a teacher, except for, of course, the first spinjitzu master who created spinjitzu in the first place. He's looking for his parents, who he lost in the merge, which is the inciting incident of the show, but the ninja duties keep on derailing them into doing other stuff, and so he joins up with Roz, who is the show's villain. He comes back to the ninja team in that same season, so don't fret too much.
No one dies here today, Roz.
He is most likely to remember your birthday even when you don't remember your birthday, or you don't want to remember your birthday or celebrate your birthday, but he's gonna know a way to make it a celebration that you actually want to have because he's just that good. Sora is our other main protagonist of Dragon's Rising. She is the elemental master of technology. Don't ask me how that works. She is a child prodigy. She was already really good at tech before she gained her elemental power. She also is not from Ninjago. She's from this entirely separate authoritarian realm. Her family sucks.
They're torturing dragons.
Dragons are just mindless beasts.
And so she runs away from home. That's how she ends up in Ninjago. She leaves her entire old life behind, even her name. Sora is the new name, which she has chosen for herself. If you can't tell from all of that and her color scheme, she's a very transcoded character. Her whole initial arc is about gaining self-confidence and finding value and worth internally rather than externally. I would say she is most likely to egg a politician. Ryu is our dragon ninja. He doesn't have an elemental power, but he is a dragon. Ryu does not talk. He also changes quite a bit throughout the series. He starts out like a little baby and then he grows up into a teenager and he's recently grown into an adult. He's also part of our initial trio with Sora and Aaron. And in general, there is just a sense that Ryu is destined for great things.
You are a very special creature.
There was recently a whole sequence in the afterlife where we have characters talking about how important he is. So we don't really know yet, but something's going on with Ryu. He is most likely of the team to get away with an eye roll when he really shouldn't be able to. Partially because he's a dragon and he can't talk, but also because like you know he's probably right. Wildfire is our heat ninja. I know that sounds very similar to Kai's fire ninja, but it is different. It's addressed in universe. She actually ends up being more of Kai's student than she is Lloyd's. Her main character trait is that she was raised by dragons. So she is just pure chaos all the time.
Eat flame, you bunch of flame eaters!
She has a little side plot romance with a character called Roby, who is just the most brain-rotted dude on the planet.
This year is just the beginning of what's going to become a multimedia, cross-platform, content-generating event.
She is most likely to get into a bar fight and then not remember why she got into the bar fight.
No, it's not boring? Fireballs!
Frack is the Quake Ninja, but probably more importantly, he is the Serpentine Ninja.
The snake who shakes and breaks.
The Serpentine were a villainous faction back in season 1, but of course we're like 19 seasons in now, so over time the show has kind of had to grapple with implying that an entire race of people is just by default evil, and so today we have a Serpentine Ninja. He is our most recent addition to the ninja team. He's also kind of the most random. He's just kind of a side character in season 2, and then in season 3 it's like, oh, he's just on the team now. Cool, I guess.
I'll stay up all night practicing until I get it right.
He is very eager to learn, ready to prove himself, but he's also very insecure. Also important to mention, he has an established crush on Sora. We don't know how Sora feels on the matter thus far. She hasn't caught on yet, amazingly.
Sora, I couldn't sleep. I was so worried about you. You were? Well, I mean, we all were. Not just me. I'm sure others couldn't sleep. Where's Aaron?
Frack, I would say, is most likely to do something incredibly brave while looking incredibly stupid. And as one last reminder, these are my pairings. If you have different pairings that you would make, then obviously that is an irreconcilable difference that we should scream at each other about in the comments and form lifelong grudges over. So all right, so as we're just dipping our toes into the pool here, let's start out with some easy ones. I have a couple that seem very self-explanatory to me, so we'll start out with Jay is Ariel. I don't know quite how to explain it. It just feels overwhelmingly obvious. No man has ever had a princess so clearly matched to his soul as has Jay Walker from Ninjago.
He cannot talk, but he wants to know if you like blue.
I have a couple of theories. You tell me if you think they hold up. First off, they are both just such complete dorks.
Why, Eric, run away with you?
Yes!
It's one of their best qualities. Ariel has the whole secret shrine to the human world trinkets. Jay, I guess, also technically had a secret shrine to a bunch of Starfarer stuff, but he didn't make it, he inherited it, but he's equally as nerdy about it. Anyway, regardless, the level of obsession with both of them is equally clear and like self-destructively dangerous to a degree. Ariel wants to hang out with humans so bad she makes a very ill-advised trade with her voice, and Jay wants to be a space explorer so bad that when they accidentally end up in space, he is completely undaunted and just straight up delusional.
We're in space! I thought this is stuff only Fritz Donegan gets to enjoy.
Fritz is from a comic book, dude! This is real!
They're both extremely extroverted members of their groups and have that sort of rebellious, bratty teenager energy about them.
My father's gonna kill me!
Why didn't we listen to him?
I feel like these two are most likely in their groups to pull off that like 2000s, 2010s nerd aesthetic. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's the energy that they're giving off. They are both immediately obsessed with their sea-adjacent love interest who has no idea who they are, end up in a misunderstanding-based love triangle. Their personal villains are both manipulative, word-twisty deal makers, and their voices. Let's circle back around to the voices. Obviously, Ariel's voice is hugely important. The reason that she trades it away is because it is insanely valuable. Not only is it supernaturally beautiful, but her ability to speak her mind, voice her opinion, and express herself comes largely through vocality.
Ready to stand.
Her voice is taken because it's essential to her character, which is the same reason it's taken from Jay in one of the very first running jokes in the show.
Can I be the first to say it's been an absolute pleasure since Jay lost his voice?
It also gets taken during the climax of his personal season. Robbing him of his ability to talk is taking away a large part of who he is. Even if his arms aren't tied, it makes him feel defenseless. He is constantly saying what's on his mind. He needs to be able to shout out his stupid quips or vent his raging frustrations, or else he's not really Jay.
If they start yapping, just don't get them going, okay? They don't know when to quit. And if you start talking, then they'll start talking, and suddenly half the day is gone before you know it, and it's not even—
We get it! They talk a lot. The cherry doesn't fall far from its blossom.
And I think that the Jay stans would back up this point. Your Honor, I brought supporting evidence. Okay, so for those of you in the Dragons Rising fandom, do you remember Jay is Skull Guy? Do you remember that? Okay, so to catch everyone else up, there was a trailer for Dragons Rising before Jay had entered back into the series, which just very briefly showed one of these Howler guys. Now, these guys are just a disposable villain that pops up when our characters get cursed for like a one-off episode. But you'll notice, if you look really closely, they are blue.
Look what color I am!
So at the time, there was some speculation, some way, somehow, that this is Jay, because we were starved for Jay content and blue is his color. So update, I went looking for any kind of proof that I wasn't just hallucinating this fan theory out of nothing, and I found this Tanner Fishy's video, of course, which has almost 100,000 views. So, yeah, just been having a little mini mental breakdown about that one. That speculation solidified into real theorizing when somebody asked a writer of the show to describe this character in one word. And Doc responded, vocal. And that really seemed to confirm it for some people. I remember seeing short essays on why vocal was a word intrinsically tied to Jay as a character. This was a clear hint to the true fans. And to be clear, I liked those essays. I thought they had some good points about Jay's character, even if their functioning as evidence for this conspiracy theory was kind of thin. Of course, in reality, we now know that Doc was just using a very basic word to describe the enemies that scream at you to deal damage, but you know, regardless, I think it adds to my argument here. Ariel and Jay are both intrinsically connected to their voices. That's my first match.
Well, I thought we handled that well.
As for our second match, let's take care of our main man Lloyd, because I think this one is also pretty obvious. I'll give you a second to maybe subconsciously absorb the answer. It's Rapunzel. He's 1000% raps. Let me tell you why.
I'm ready to face whatever you throw at me.
They both have magic glowy body parts with a thematic color attached. They both have an evil parental figure and then separate parental figures who are less problematic but don't enter their life until they're grown. They both have some crazy, wild fate, destiny vibes attached to them, and which continually haunt them around the narrative even long after you think it would be relevant. Powers that disappear and come back and gain abilities and drop abilities at the plot's convenience. They both have a weird gap in their childhood where they were never really just allowed to be a normal kid, meaning they have some very naive and childlike qualities about them as an adult. They are both extremely marketable members and arguably faces of their respective brands despite not being a part of the founding lineup. They both have a girl who is maybe kind of their adoptive sister character who betrays and tries to kill them before maybe turning good again in one of the most underbaked arcs in the whole show.
It's okay. She's with us.
Am I the bad guy?
They've got a lot. But the main thing aligning these two is their personalities. They both have this undying optimism about them. They are unequivocally glass half full folks. They work well with children because they both have that sort of grade school teacher voice about them.
Sometimes it's like he's not even there.
You taught yourself spinjitzu.
Being a kind and caring person is a defining trait of theirs, despite existing in this very violent, action-oriented world. They're both like kind of really adorable when they're angry because it's such an atypical emotion for them.
Find your humanity! Haven't any of you ever had a dream?
You didn't know if I could be trusted? That's rich, considering you're the one who can't be trusted.
They overwork themselves a lot, partially because the world seems to be constantly on their shoulders specifically, but also just, you know, because they don't want to inconvenience anyone else. This also leads them to both be pretty aggressive people pleasers. The second episode of the Tangled TV show is about this exact problem for Raps, and Lloyd is so worried about ruffling feathers that most recently he essentially asked a figment of his imagination if he was mad at him.
Are you happy?
Plus, as a little bonus flavor, there is this whole thing in the Tangled fandom about Rapunzel wearing green, and so I feel it would be thematically appropriate to pair her with the green ninja. The only thing not super lining up for me is that Eugene is such a large part of Rapunzel's story, and Lloyd doesn't really have a super strong parallel on that front.
No wonder I still don't have a girlfriend.
Hey!
If you squint, I think you can slot in Akita in this position. The two are complete opposites in personality, but Akita is a rogue criminal who is wandering the woods and runs into Lloyd by chance. She also has an alternate name that she goes by at first, and there's a whole kerfuffle about whether or not they can trust each other, so it's not nothing.
I think he likes me.
Likes you, please, Rapunzel. That's demented.
All in all, I feel like that's a pretty solid lock. And the last one, I'm like 100% sure I will not be changing my mind on, is Wildfire. It's Merida. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, and it's like, it's a lock.
I won't go through with it! You can't make me! Train me? I should be training you!
They both have this very act first, think later mentality. They're both constantly pushing against the world's expectations for them in their introduction. They want nothing to do with the path their parental figure has planned out for them until something happens to said parental figure, and then the weight of their responsibilities sink in, and that creates this unbreakable bond between the two of them as they have to learn from each other. Plus, the hair. They both have the bright red hair in order to symbolize that they are the wild child of the group. They are entirely free spirits and no one will be reining them in. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that Wi-Fi doesn't also have the crazy messy curls. That seems like a no-brainer. There's also Merida being the only Pixar princess, which lends itself to some pretty clear outsider jokes. And Wildfire was literally raised by dragons as a human. It makes her this unique cultural oddity wherever she goes. She is a cross between these two species. Weirder even than the actual dragon ninja, which, Ryu. How are we gonna match Ryu with somebody? Merida also has 3 little brothers, which sort of nicely ties into Wildfire when she adopts those like 3 little dragons in those shorts / audio notes / whatever that campaign was called. Was it just called Wildfire? They also both just feel notably younger within the larger group dynamic. Regardless of the canon ages of each of these princesses in their movies, when they all come together as a group and hang out, there are those which feel like women and those which feel like teenagers. And Merida is just perpetually a teenager.
Mom.
The one red flag here is that Merida is one of our few princesses not to end up in a relationship, even though she has like a bunch of suitors. And Wildfire is the first of our new gens to get a partner.
You're funny and cute and I like that.
But it's definitely more of a side plot, and if Merida ever did get a crush on someone, I would venture to say that she would be the exact same flavor of obvious mess as Wildfire is.
She might as well be wearing a t-shirt that says, I heart Roby.
Wholly unequipped to deal with it, completely charmless, but her love interest finds it endearing, and so they go forward as the quirky oddballs of the group. And so I feel like that fits, at least in spirit. Water break. Always break for water. All right, that's my 3 easiest ones out of the way. For everyone else, I feel like there may be a little bit more pondering to do. And right off the bat, I want to dive into 2 characters who I feel are probably going to be more difficult to pair. Not most difficult. We're not gonna think about him right now, but more difficult. First off, Nia.
This is gonna be good.
I find Nia difficult to assign a Disney princess because she would resent this whole activity. She does not want to be called a Disney princess. She has no compulsion to indulge in girl time. She canonically hates dresses and opulence.
Too much gold, in my opinion.
The one princess point she really has going for her is that she has the ability to communicate with ocean life. But even then, that reads as much less of an Ariel thing and more of an Aquaman sorta deal. It is going to be a difficult needle to thread. We do have a couple of princesses who don't want to be a princess, so that might be a good place to start. But probably our most vocal of the bunch has just been taken by Wildfire. But if we are considering it, like, Nia does have a lot of that, like, in the one scene, the archery, and she's like, and I'll be shooting for my own hand. I should not have tried the accent.
And I'll be shooting for my own hand.
She has that girl bossing loophole energy about her. Both of them are very athletically capable and free-spirited. They both have a whole plot line about getting along with their mom. But really, I don't think Merida is the best fit for her. Like I said, youth is really a defining factor of Merida's character, and Nia is one of the more mature members of our ninja team. You really do need to pair the rebellious teenager with the rebellious teenager. There's really no getting around it.
We can't just walk away.
I can. Watch.
The other, I don't want to be a princess that comes to my mind is Jasmine.
Then maybe I don't want to be a princess anymore.
She has a similar, you can't tell me what to do, I'm gonna make my own destiny quality about her. Generally offensive when it comes to suitors. She's even one of the girls that we have who's typically not wearing a dress. But if we follow that logic much further, I think we do run into an impassable wall. Our glitter vibes rating. Jasmine is one of the most glamorous of any of our Disney princesses. You cannot imagine her choosing to wear an outfit which does not leave your jaw dropped. Even though she does wear one in movie when she disguises herself to go out in the marketplace. Her crown is crucial to her image. It's not really a crown, it's like a headband sort of thing with a gem. I don't know that that has a name for it. Maybe I'm gonna call it it's her crown. You just know she has the best jewelry of any of our girls. Her closet's gotta be one of the biggest. I'm going to say gaudy, which I know generally has a negative connotation, but I mean it entirely positively. Jasmine is not typically depicted in a dress, not because she is less feminine, but because she is more feminine. And when she does slip on a dress, you know she murders it. Nia is pretty straightforwardly a tomboy. She does not care about her appearance enough to be going through all of this effort on a daily basis.
You're gonna need makeup when I rearrange your face!
I'm sorry, this just seems like a major incongruence to me. Maybe I'm thinking about this too hard. Maybe we just need to back up simplify it a little bit, Nia is the water ninja, Moana is our water princess. Boom, there you go, right?
Ocean, if you'd be so kind.
Moana makes a point of clarifying that she isn't a princess. All of her outfits are pretty low-key. Obviously, they both have access to like some water bending powers. They are one of the few in both groups with notable sibling relationships. Moana wants to chart her own path in life against the wishes of those around her. There's connective tissue here, right? Yeah, I don't really know. These two feel like just complete opposite personalities to me. Nia is a very abrasive, independent soul.
Who's losing control now? Not me!
And Moana is cut from the revival era of princesses, who are all especially bright, well-meaning, quirky, clumsy princesses who are actively looking to work with others to form connections. Though she wants a different life than the ones her parents want from her, she still wants her parents' approval to do it. Moana does not have the edge that Nia has.
That's it! Bring it!
I just did that.
Also, and it's a small thing, but Moana is one of our few Disney princesses with no love interest, and Nia has one of the longest and most complex romance plots in all of Ninjago, so it does feel like a little bit of a missed opportunity when most of our princesses do have a love plotline of some kind. Most of our ninja do, too, for the record.
Looks like Kai's got the hots for her.
I do like that Moana is one of our princesses with a little more action accolades that feels fitting for Nia. She very much loves fighting. It's one of her defining features. That feels like a good thread to follow, and if we do, it inevitably leads us to Mulan.
I've got an idea.
Feels kind of obvious on a number of levels. Mulan is one of our princesses who is not a princess by any stretch. She dons an alternate identity to fight in battles her family otherwise wouldn't let her. She has to prove herself to people who underestimate her abilities because of her gender. Mulan isn't too great at the whole presenting feminine thing. This is perhaps our princess story with the most gender commentary out of all of them, and that feels very fitting for our original and ever-defining girl ninja.
Guess that means you're not a real ninja. Just a girl in a costume.
Mulan's experience is, of course, a little more thoroughly played out and focused, often lending comparisons to the trans experience. So it's Sora. Right? I mean, the trans-coded princess gets paired with the trans-coded ninja. It feels like a no-brainer. And to be fair, yet again, even though there are a lot of superficial similarities, I don't think this would be a particularly good personality match for Nia. As neat as the Samurai X Ping parallels are, they happen for vastly different reasons. Nia takes on this alternate identity in order to prove other people wrong, to gain a sense of personal fulfillment. Mulan isn't really doing any of this for herself. She is looking to hopefully earn the respect of people she looks up to. She thinks that this might make her valuable and worthwhile in her family's eyes. Nia mainly just wants to show up the boys any chance she gets.
Sometimes I don't know what you do without me.
Nia rejects performative femininity because she genuinely despises it. Mulan wants to project femininity if it will honor her family. She's trying her best to do it, but she's just not good at it. It doesn't come naturally to her. When met with obstacles, Nia points her emotions outward, being frustrated at everything, most of the time for valid reasons, I'll add.
I'm not weak! This bucket is weak!
Mulan, on the other hand, does a remarkably good job of keeping her emotions under wraps. While she's not afraid to take a stand when things are important to her or when people's safety is at risk, she's not one to continue a fight just to prove a point. She has a good respect for a lot of the authority figures around her. Same cannot be said for Nia. Mulan meets obstacles by turning her emotions on herself, often letting it eat away at her self-worth.
But I was wrong.
I see nothing.
And this is the exact same thing that Sora is used to doing, especially at the beginning of her arc.
You're wasting your time on me, Lloyd.
Maybe the parallels don't work so well between Mulan's family and Sora's family, but if you replace her biological family with her found family of the ninja, it maps on surprisingly well. Sora wants to be a valuable member of the team, but all of the responsibilities given to her, she feels like she's continually messing up. She can't use her powers without Ryu. She's not making progress on Spinjitzu. Even when she uses her powers, she's not controlling them well enough.
And I'm the weak link on the team here.
She wants to earn the respect of the people she looks up to most, but she has to learn that they don't need anything special from her in order to earn their validation.
The greatest gift and honor is having you for a daughter.
They both follow their need to uphold the family legacy to the point of being honored as some great and powerful warrior in front of a huge crowd, ultimately feeling empty because the praise does not come from the person who matters most to them in that moment. And of course, Sora's natural inclinations were discouraged by the society she grew up in, shoving them into boxes which did not represent her and which led her to strike out, take a new name, and pursue a life in which she could honor herself and who she is in more unconventional ways. She comes into her new life hesitantly, with reservations, overwhelmed, and doubting her abilities, but pushes through to become one of the greatest among them. Mulan is also a surprisingly inventive princess. She leans a lot on her ingenuity to get her through things. She takes whatever materials she has on hand to make the best of every situation in surprisingly effective ways, like the dog feeding at the beginning of the film or the fan in the climax. And I think this slots in really nicely with Sora's elemental power of technology. Though she does build things from scratch, that's a little more Nia and Pixel's territory. Her best work comes from rearranging pieces that are already available to her and making something that suits her needs better. She has to make do and get creative with whatever is available to her in battle most of the time, which is something we see Mulan excel at repeatedly throughout her film. It also feels fitting to me that Mulan's romance plotline is one of the more awkward, non-committal ones in the Disney princess lineup. Tectonic is definitely the same level of bumbling, messy disaster as these two are.
Mulan, you forgot your helmet.
I ate all the yogurt in the monastery fridge.
But all of that leaves us with no further progress on Nia. I guess Raya is our other action-heavy princess, so maybe she could be an option. But does she even really have any other points of comparison? There's no gender commentary, no siblings, no Samurai X, no romance. The personalities are kind of similar because they're both like tough girls. I guess her glitter vibes are pretty low. It's an all right fit, but I think it's far from a lock. If I'm being honest, the best choice for Nia is in a past member of the Disney princess group who later got kicked out, Esmeralda.
And you are?
Is this an interrogation?
Esmeralda is not a princess. She performs femininity mainly just for self-gain. She sees it as a tool. Her wardrobe is pretty low-key in her everyday wear anyway. She has her fair share of action scenes in which she really holds her own. She's constantly fighting against the oppression of the world around her, not scared of being outspoken at all.
The only fool I see is you!
A real focus on justice and an anger at a lot of the messed up world around her. There's even a love triangle where she ends up with the guy who's a little bit of a womanizer, at least at first.
You fight almost as well as a man.
Funny, I was going to say the same thing about you.
It's literally perfect. But it is not an option available to me. Esmeralda got kicked out of the club in 2005. She is not a part of the canon 13. The concept was we had 13 and 13. So we have to stick to the 13. Maybe it's time to switch gears to something else. Let's get some water. Water break. Over our 2 filming sessions so far, we have taken it down a little bit, so that's good. Okay. Let's go to the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Someone who I find difficult to assign a Disney princess, not because they're not a Disney princess, but because they are so much of a Disney princess. And that is Aaron.
Come on, buddy. Catch!
Aaron bakes pies and makes friends with everyone, and his superpower is kindness, and he literally wears sunshine colors because he is such a delight. He was born to be a Disney princess.
The unknown is always the enemy.
Whoa, Mr. Cynical, the unknown is usually a potential friend.
And because of that, I feel like you could probably make a solid argument for him being any one of these characters. However, there is one character who I feel fits him ridiculously well. I mean, let's just think through this for a second. He is a quirky, energetic, family-oriented member of this team in which everyone else has magical powers and gets self-conscious about it. It's Mirabelle!
Let's go!
It's literally just Mirabelle.
I just want to do my part like the rest of the family.
That I can do!
But Mirabelle, again, isn't a Disney princess. You know who else isn't a Disney princess? The other overly quirky protagonist without superpowers, this time who tries to work with the villain for a time before realizing that what they're doing is fundamentally wrong and turning against them. There's a whole plot point where they release a bunch of these orbs that hold part of people's, like, souls. Asha! That's Asha!
I've got a good feeling about it!
Also not a Disney princess. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? So, if we turn ourselves towards our actual lineup, Aaron does draw me towards the classic era. He is a classic Disney princess. Snow White, Cinderella, and Aurora. These three are the biggest members of our group. Royalty within royalty. They are the princesses who were introduced before the Renaissance era, meaning they feel much more classic and timeless and eternal. Set in stone, never to be removed. More than anyone else, they have that sickly, sweet princess stereotype attached to them. And for that reason, these three might be a little more difficult to pair with our 21st century ninja, if you will. But Aaron has the sweetness power levels to match.
Anything around here you need help with?
Snow White in particular is known for her baking, so maybe that might be a good pair. I also recently compared Aaron to Cinderella in a video because they have similar static arcs that they go through in their main journeys. But if we're being real, Cinderella has already been solidly claimed by another character on this channel in a much more in-depth segment about Pixel. Pixel is a Cinderella archetype. I have so many reasons that Pixel is Cinderella, escaping from abuse and the outfit which hides her identity and her half of a set of a magical blue artifact, the relationship with the father figure and the love at first sight and the learning to utilize agency, the soft-spoken demeanor paired with the sassy comments. I have staked my claim on this one for a while, which makes it so disheartening for me to tell you that there is one glaring reason that Pixel cannot be Cinderella in our lineup today. Cinderella is the default face of the brand. She is part of that classic 3 lineup, and I simply cannot justify giving such a prestigious role to the one person on the Ninja card lineup who arguably belongs here the least. Though she is unequivocally a part of the Ninja team for large sections of the story, she is not technically a ninja. She is Samurai X. The current show has no interest in her.
Zane, are you okay?
We can't even bother to come up with an excuse for why she isn't included in the new episodes.
Pixel and I split up to search for you all.
I'm sorry, but for the group dynamics in which both of these characters exist, Cinderella just has to be someone of slightly more significance than Pixel. Thankfully, Pixel began her life as a pretty straightforward carbon copy of one of our main characters, and that is Zane.
Zane! You know, White Ninja, the smart, strange one?
He similarly has the single father figure, which makes up his true family, the soft-spoken demeanor, the asexual romance, the glassy blue plot device, which represents his love. Depending on how you want to categorize things, Zane kinda has like an evil stepfamily. Cindy is probably our top talks with animals type princess. A lot of them do it, but she's the only one out here like sewing clothing for them. So, you know. And Zane, I think, is the only one on the squad with an honest to goodness animal sidekick. The Falcon. Man, bring back the Falcon. They both end up talking to animals, not just because they are so kind, but because they are so lonely for some pretty depressing reasons. Cinderella, of course, being isolated in her home, suffering abuse, and Zane being socially ostracized because of his mental differences. This leading both of them directly into the hands of their little animal friends because they are the only ones who will really take the time to understand them. And because of stuff like this, they both end up as pretty introverted characters, at least in their initial debuts. Cinderella is also sort of the dream princess. I mean, there's Aurora too, but Cinderella is very highly associated with dreams. She sings about dreams, she dissociates through dreams, her night out is framed deliberately as a dream.
It's like a dream. A wonderful dream come true.
And Zane, at least in his origins, is our dream ninja.
Master of ice and seer with sixth sense.
They show him the future, they teach him about himself. He is mystically connected to the whims of a higher realm which manifests itself into reality. But most importantly, I just think the vibes line up really well. Cindy, in my interpretation, is a lot more of a hands-off, laid-back member of the group. While her status as one of the big three does give her a bit of a leadership role, I feel like she's largely gently guiding with a light hand, not really leading discussion or taking charge. She is generally content just to be included.
It's more than I ever hoped for.
And the same goes for Zane. Zane's just chilling. He's happy to be here.
She laughed for 45 seconds straight, and I laughed for 52 seconds. It was quite an experience.
He's not the one choosing the direction the team goes most of the time, even though he probably has the most knowledge out of anyone here. He's mainly offering advice and finding solutions when needed. He's also been pretty flattened over time for his most marketable trait, robot.
As an android, I lack taste buds.
And I feel like that similarly tracks with Cinderella. A lot of her appearances in media that isn't hers seems to miss a lot of the nuances of her character. Like, it really feels like they don't know what to do with her most of the time, which is a little unfortunate. In the most recent Lego Princess special, the running gag that they gave her is that she can't come up with a cool catchphrase.
Let's bibbidi-bobbidi do this.
Like, what are we doing here, folks?
We'll work on a catchphrase.
But as a final little cherry on top, I think the Titanium Ninja does deserve to get paired with Cinderella's signature silver gown. Like, that's perfect right there. But if we give Cinderella to Zane, that does leave Pixel hanging. If we use the criteria which kicked Pixel off of Cinderella to guide us, I think we find our answer pretty quickly. There is a princess in the Disney lineup who feels like a bit of an odd one out in a lot of circumstances, and which Disney commonly doesn't really know how to include, with a central love story and a tone of speaking which immediately sets her apart as one of the more elegant, mature members of our cast. Pocahontas.
I'm so glad you've come home safely.
I can think of no one more exciting to explore these new merged lands with, Zane.
The vibes on these two are so extremely similar. Again, I think their voices mirror each other weirdly closely.
Father, for many nights now, I've been having a very strange dream.
It's amazing you dream. I've always wondered what it's like.
All this happened because of me.
You can be honest with me.
With this slightly elevated speech pattern and sing-song kind of tone, they hold a gravitas about them that not many others in the group do. They both act as outsiders to a more dominant culture.
We'll build roads and decent houses and...
Our houses are fine.
It's just code, ones and zeros.
As are yours.
Especially in the sequel, as Pocahontas goes to England and is molded by those around her to fit into their lifestyle. Pocahontas does not necessarily consider herself a princess. It is something which the Englishmen insist upon her in order to inflate her importance to the king.
She is royalty, a princess. She is the daughter of a great chief who has traveled far from her homeland in the interests of peace.
Pocahontas adopts this sort of fictitious title of princess in order to essentially save her people. And I do feel weird saying this because this actually happened to a real life woman in actual history and not just a Disney character, but this does make for a cool parallel with the bendy CGI Lego Ninja show, with Pixel taking on someone else's Samurai X title almost entirely just to ensure her father is safe.
I'm trying to unscramble Zane's neural pathways so we can go rescue Cyrus Borg.
Pixel is taken out of her administrator life in Borg Tower and thrust into the action ninja lifestyle, kind of against her will. She doesn't hate it or anything. She enjoys herself quite fine, but it is very out of her hands. Pixel also has the fun character quirk of going out of her way to make friends with all potentially sentient creatures.
I assure you, Unagami's emotions are just as real to him.
And Pocahontas sings about listening to every part of nature, which feels like a pretty solid similarity.
Has a life, has a spirit, has a name.
While Pixel and Zane don't necessarily have forbidden love like in Pocahontas, Pixel does start out on Team Overlord and has a dramatic scene where she offers up her life to try and save Zane and the others from essentially members of her own family. So in that light, I think it does parallel quite nicely.
I'll always be with you.
I will always be a part of you.
Also, their initial stories both end in this sort of initially ambiguous, bittersweet goodbye. Zane dies, but is maybe still alive in some unspecified way off screen. John Smith has to go back to England in order to not die. And in the sequel, Pocahontas even thinks that he's dead.
Much time has passed since the news of John Smith's death.
Again, I think the main thing drawing me to this pairing, besides the voices,
Father, I need to speak with you.
Sadly, this is where my journey ends.
Is the group dynamics that Pocahontas sits so strangely in the Disney princess lineup and Pixel so awkwardly among the ninja, I think gives these two a sort of instant soul bond. Plus, little added bonus, Ralph Breaks the Internet has Cindy and Pocahontas like kind of as buddies. Whoever made this decision, I think, caught on to a real vibe here. These two are both like weirdly soft-spoken and spiritually in tune, and I totally buy them hanging out and doing each other's hair. Plus, it parallels quite nicely with Pixane, so there you go. Done deal. I have refilled with some additional ice because I know I'm not drinking room temperature water. When we left, we were on a tangent about Cinderella, because Pixel, which came from Cinderella, which was Zane, which came from Aaron. We were talking about Aaron.
Okay.
That is where our tangent sprung off, is Aaron. So let's get back to him. Who else do we think could match with Aaron? Okay, again, let's simplify, take a step back, go brain off mode. Aaron likes baking. Are there any other princesses who enjoy baking?
The quickest way to a man's heart is through his stomach.
Can't be that easy, can it? Tiana has the same passion for cooking as Aaron does, and the same need to share her food with the world. They both serve as underdogs in their respective stories, continually fighting an uphill battle to make ends meet. Aaron is self-taught in spinjitzu, which plays into Tiana's whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps mentality. They both have a bright pink best friend with a ton more overt power than they do. It would would be kind of cool to pair our black-coated ninja with the first black princess. Again, though, I think the personalities are just gonna clash a little too much here. Aaron's sunshine qualities are core to his character, and Tiana just doesn't quite have that same endless exuberance. Perseverance, sure. Optimism, you could argue it, but this woman does not have an endless supply of good vibes to be given out. She is completely over it in a number of situations, which is completely fair.
There is no way I'm kissing a frog and eating a bug on the same day.
You know who this kind of does sound like, though? Our other impossible placement. Nia has insane perseverance. She's constantly fighting a world working against her, and this results in her flipping her lid numerous times. Nia is just as much a workaholic as Tiana. Nia even has a romance as messy as Tiana's with a magically important marriage plot point. So, Tiana isn't really defined by her glitz or glamour, she just kind of looks amazing in whatever. Tiana has that edge that we've been missing for Nia. So why am I still hesitant about this? What's the difference here? Why isn't it clicking together for me? I think what it is the charisma factor. Again, Nia has an abrasiveness to her personality. She is not exactly a people person.
I don't like this one bit.
And Tiana, while not like actively social when we see her, does have this sort of natural charm just oozing off of her.
You need a napkin, sweetheart? I'm gonna work a double shift to let hear your hotcakes.
She knows how to make everything she says sound effortlessly smooth. Every comment has a bit of wit, every conversation laced with her control of the thing.
You know a good ukulele player?
Really? You let me perform?
I'll talk to the owner. Owner says yes.
Her calling is as a hostess. In her fantasy sequences, and I guess also at the end of the film, she is the restaurant owner, not the chef. She is entertaining people and bringing community together, and, you know, being the boss that everyone likes in the process. That is not Nia. I'm sorry, she ain't got the patience for that.
I'm done with that pencil pusher.
You know who has recently found their calling as a community builder, though? Cole.
The Finders are like my family.
Now, obviously, there's a couple of things that don't quite line up. Cole isn't really a great cook.
Please don't make that again.
And by no stretch can you call him a workaholic.
Maybe we should just give up.
But he does have a healthy appreciation for food, and when he chooses to lock in, this man can get stuff done. He has a similar ability as Tiana to adapt to whatever situation he happens to be thrown in and not entirely lose his head. I think Cole also has that sort of effortless charm about him.
And a little soft shoe doesn't hurt.
His quips never feel labored or pre-planned. He just shoots from the hip. He can easily command any room he wants to.
Shall feel.
Hey, buddy. Hey there. Name's Cole, Ninja. I heard there was some jerk down here, chaining people up, making them work. You seen any jerks around?
And I think he and Tiana both fall into some similar speech patterns. It's like a laid back but very blunt and personal kind of vibe.
No. Your Royal Highness, you are gonna mince these mushrooms.
It's important to be yourself.
Yeah, that's cute. But you wanna know what I learned?
Most likely to, like, platonically call one of their teammates honey. You feel me? And that brings back the whole community angle. Tiana has been bringing those around her together since she was a kid.
Hey everybody, I'm a Dumbo.
At its core, that is her real dream, and losing sight of that is the thing that she needs to fix about her life in her movie. Cole has also always been a community builder. I feel like he's always making like weird random friends wherever the ninja go. And then of course there's Dragon's Rising, where he's just gone full dad mode, getting separated from his first found family and then just establishing an entirely separate found family that he then splits his time between inevitably basically merging them into one giant found family. The real clincher though, between these two, I think is the backbone, which is motivating both of these characters, is that they both want to live up to the legacy of their parent who passed early in their life. Tiana wants a restaurant so badly because it's a way for her to honor her father.
I gotta make sure all Daddy's hard work means something.
Cole takes up the ninja mantle largely because he feels it is a charge given to him by his mother.
I want you to promise me, Cole, that you will always stand up to those who are cruel and unjust.
They are both deeply motivated by this loss of their parent and have to realize that more than any specific goal that they would have wanted them to accomplish, their parent would already be ridiculously proud of them. And simply by living and trying to do what's right, they are already carrying on their spirit effectively. I mean, that feels like a slam dunk comparison right there. It's like the primary thing shaping both of these characters' outlooks on life, and it's nearly identical. Also, a lot of people do headcanon Cole as black, so there's a little bit of connective tissue there. Even if, you know, literally in the show, he literally says he's half white and Chinese, so I don't know why they did this.
Wait a minute, I'm still half white, half Chinese.
If that was the only thing that we got out of the Fortnite collab, it would still be worth it. Oh geez, okay, water. We got it back down to about where we started. I think I probably drank about all of the ice that I added in. I keep getting sidetracked. We started out with Aaron. We somehow ended up on Cole. Let's buckle down and get something done intentionally for once. Okay, who have we not touched yet? Brand new character. Let's start with a fresh, clean slate. Kai! We haven't talked about Kai yet.
Master of Fire is on it.
What are we looking for in a match for Kai? You know, for the first time on this list, I think we might actually have an aesthetics guy.
I love the gold highlights.
He's gonna for sure have a high glamour rating. He has higher standards than everyone else we've covered.
Are we gonna look kind of dorky flying up on our power dragons with these things on?
He likes sleek cars. He keeps after his public image. He purchased an avatar look in Prime Empire, and a pretty good one too, I might add. I'm looking at you, Lloyd. This man has some high glitter vibes. And again, that immediately draws me to the classic era princesses. They're generally speaking the glitteriest of the bunch. If we're thinking about aesthetics, Aurora has got to be top of the pile. She is a princess with a very strong sense of visual presence about her. Plus, you can throw as many sparkles as you want on her and she will carry them off. However, I do think she is a bit too composed for Kai.
No more!
He has that classic hothead energy about him that really needs to be represented. He also just like does some stupid stuff sometimes. Generally speaking, he can be a bit of a mess.
300.
400.
350.
450.
Deal.
None of which you can say for Aurora. She is the most put together woman on this list. Even when actively having a mental breakdown, she is so graceful about it. So that one's not gonna work. Raya is one of the spunkier characters left on our list, and though she does have lower glitter levels, her fashion sense is just absolutely impeccable. Like, just look at this. Look at this aura. Oh my gosh. The problem I'm seeing here is that Raya doesn't stack up to Kai from a charm perspective.
This is a stealth mission, so the theme would go more like da 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 da.
Oh yeah.
He is one of the most popular characters in the franchise for a reason, and Raya is the Disney princess that everyone forgets about for the exact opposite reason.
Yeah, I knew you couldn't handle rolling solo.
People find this movie annoying. I enjoyed myself. I had a good time, but I I do understand.
Yeah, I might be a little bit of a dragon nerd.
So, pop quiz time. Let's see if you've been paying attention. We need an outspoken, headstrong princess with a high glamour rating who gets a little messy, maybe doesn't think everything through all of the time, but who is extremely popular and charismatic. It's Princess Jasmine.
I'm a fast learner.
When the vibes fit, they fit. Jasmine is out here speaking her mind, dressing like a goddess, getting into trouble, and being so charismatic that she earned her way into the Disney princess lineup despite being the only one who is not the star of her own movie. Fun fact, a surprising number of similarities emerge once you consider it. I think these two share a similarly strong intuition. Kai is more skeptical towards dodgy situations. He knows how to play his cards right in most social situations. He has to see through a lot of deceptions in his personal arcs. Jasmine similarly sees through the elaborate presentation of all of her suitors. She knows when to play along with others' social schemes and create those of her own. Her and Aladdin's dynamic is also weirdly Kyler coded.
You do kind of stand out. I mean, maybe we should be together. Ah, that didn't come out right.
In this comparison, Kai is definitely more of the Aladdin and Skylar is more of the Jasmine, but still, not to mention one of them hiding their true identity from the other. And I guess their kiss getting interrupted by the comic relief. I noticed that one too. They both just also have some sass about them.
Well, why didn't Roby tell me that?
I feel like they are most likely to get into some serious girl talk and in that tone go like, she did not. You hear it?
He just did.
How dare you?
They're both total drama queens and I love it. Water break. More water. All right, we are pretty swiftly whittling down our options here. I think it is time to return to our eternal question mark, Nia. To get into the headspace here, let's just summarize what we have liked from our previous Nia candidates. Princesses who are outspoken, independent, want more out of life than it is giving them, and maybe even are looking for a fight. Someone whose style isn't particularly important, but maybe has some commentary on femininity, gender, sexism, etc. Someone with enough aggressive edge so you can feel the anger and resentment that fuels them, which is then channeled into their insanely hardworking ethos. A love story with a fair bit of prominence, even a love triangle in one case. Let's see, a nod to Kai being her sibling was nice. A maturity in comparison to other members of the cast. The Samurai X parallels were fun if we could get them. I think that's about it. Is there anything missing about Nia's character that we have not considered yet? Maybe like her intelligence? She's a very smart character. That's something that gets harped on by the show a lot.
You are so smart.
Was there ever any doubt?
If only there were a Disney princess known for her intellectual prowess, who also happened to fit nearly all of the qualifications that we previously covered. A tale as old as time.
Beauty and the Beast.
Belle might not pop out as a strong option for Nia at first, just because she's not a super action-heavy princess. She's by no means helpless or anything. She leaves the castle and attempts to fight wolves. But stack her up against your Mulans and Rayas, and she looks pretty standard by comparison. Additionally, Belle doesn't necessarily shy away from the glitzier half of being a princess. She has a very large and fabulous wardrobe in film, and her yellow ball gown is extremely iconic. However, I feel like these 2 points easily slip away when you look at the mountain of evidence everything else is giving us. Belle's main want is for increased personal fulfillment through adventure.
I want adventure in the great white somewhere.
That's her whole deal.
I want it more than I can tell.
All I want is to be able to choose my own destiny.
She is looking to get into trouble a lot of the time. Magic castle with ornate decor and servants to cater to my every whim? Nah. Creepy forbidden danger room, please. Nia feels like this exact same type of person. You can't tell me she's not.
I thought I told you to stay back!
And what? Like you have all the fun?
Belle, like Nia, is breaking all sorts of societal expectations for her. You could even say she's not like other girls.
The girl is strange, no question.
A lot of these expectations come from giant sexist idiots who want to marry her for some reason, even planning their wedding despite her hating the guts out of him. She is constantly fighting an uphill battle against these people, even though she keeps winning every single time.
I just don't deserve you.
Whoa! She is not shy about speaking out. She is willing to use her voice even and maybe even especially in situations where it is dangerous for her to do so. She is not going to let folks talk back to her. She is going to win any argument that she chooses to get into, which is most arguments. Obviously, they're both extremely well-read and willing to put in the work to get stuff done. Her whole romantic plotline is both a messy, never-ending back and forth and a love triangle with an obvious loser from the start. The breaking point comes when the guy realizes that she needs her independence in order to live her full life. Dramatic death scene of one of them before magic saves the day. And even though Belle kicking a little more butt would be appreciated in order to draw these two closer together, I don't actually think that the aesthetics are all that big a disalignment. While Belle is known as the yellow princess for her giant ball gown, she really feels the most like herself when she's just in the blue town outfit. She does get dressed up for special occasions, but her most fitting feeling wear is her most casual one. And Nia isn't so one note either. She gets dressed up from time to time. She likes to look good for a date or a special ceremony. It's just important that it happens on her own terms, and it's definitely more of a rarity. Belle is also a Renaissance era princess, the exact same as Jasmine. Their movies were released back to back, so it even gives Kai and Nia's princesses a bit of a bond of their own. It's pretty darn close to being a perfect match, in my opinion.
His little wife. No, sir, not me.
I'm nobody's girl.
I didn't think I would get through the whole tub. I did think I'd be a little lower by this point in the video. All right, we only have 4 matches left to make, and as such, I figured maybe we should switch things up a little bit. I've been starting out with a ninja and then trying to decide which princess maps best onto them for most of the video. So for these next couple, let's start with a princess and work our way backwards. Moana is one of the princesses I am surprised escaped a match for this long. She's one of our more active girls, has a good deal of fight in her, and is generally more modern coded despite the story taking place in pre-colonial times. Let's see who we have left to match with her. Woo! Yeah, not too sure about that one. Not too much jumping out at me immediately. Let's keep on going. We've got Ryu. Yeah, let's just keep going down the list. Frack! Okay, well, Frack is a character who I think really needs a more modern princess. His vibes are stupidly of the moment, and I love that for him, but I cannot pair him with one of our classic era girlies. That just will not be happening.
Can't we all just be cool?
He and Moana both are extremely optimistic characters and have a bit of that clumsy trial and error energy to them. But I don't know. Moana has a softness about her character that Frack just really lacks. His positive vibes are much more aggressive.
Yes! The passing on of pie knowledge!
It's an all right fit, but I'd say it's worth seeing who our last option is. And Aaron! Oh my gosh, it's totally Aaron. How did I not make this connection sooner? They're like the same person.
I'm sure.
this happened for a reason. Yeah, it's probably a good thing, right?
Still in one piece. That's a good thing.
To be fair to me, it does seem rather counterintuitive to pair the one ninja without an elemental power with one of our few princesses who arguably does possess elemental magic. But my goodness, otherwise, these two could be twins.
Unless you don't want to be Maui.
So you don't want a fresh pie?
Find our rhythm!
All right! Yes!
Overflowing with that kinder, positive energy. They want to chase adventure in a way that they are not personally equipped for and so have to learn from someone else, leading to an eventual falling out before coming back together and a loss of their personal confidence. Everything that they do is in effort to save their family. Despite feeling underqualified, they have the potential to become the greatest whatever of all time.
You're gonna be one of the greatest ninja to ever live.
The greatest wayfinder of all time.
Their story culminates in a dramatic music-led sequence in which they confront the gigantically huge villain with compassion and a small object which releases them of their monstrous form. And I would also like to add that though Aaron doesn't have a sibling like Moana does, he does feel like the kind of character who absolutely should have a sibling. We've seen him working with children before. I have no doubt he would be the bestest big brother in the whole wide world.
Hey, I think you dropped your doll.
This is also like unlocking a Polynesian Aaron headcanon that I kind of really like. I also find it really interesting that both Aaron and Moana's most defining relationship is a platonic one with a cast member of the opposite sex. They are one of the few in both groups not to have a romantic partner. Although Dragon's Rising Season 4 might be shaking that up a little bit. He and Euphrasia got really touchy really quick.
I was afraid that'd happen.
On the other hand though, this show has also had platonic hand-holding and stuff before, so I don't know.
But it's nice to see you again.
I guess we will have to wait and see. Although, if this does go through, if Airjitzu shipping becomes canon, that will officially make Ninjago's romance rates higher than that of the Disney princesses. Every single one of our ninja, except for Ryu, will have been involved in a romantic plotline at one point, even if it eventually fell through. For the Disney princesses, you at least have Moana and Raya, who never even approach romance. Speaking of Raya, who are we matching her with? My first thought was Wu, because they both have this sibling type figure who turns evil, but they maybe have to learn to trust again, which takes up a large portion of their plot. Plus, I mean, they both got the hat, but no, we have a much better fit for her, in my opinion. Frak, I told you he needed a modern princess, and Raya is the most recent one we've got.
Oh, is that why you're chasing me? And here I thought it was because you missed me.
This is probably the princess people are least likely to know about, so I'm just gonna run through the basics real quick. Raya is a princess who comes from a people divided into 5 different factions. Once united, but now at war. In order to reunite them, she seeks to find the last dragon, a magical reptile who has long been dormant, waiting to be reawakened. Even if you've just watched the first season of Ninjago, you know it's just the story of the Serpentine.
When 5 fangs unite as one, the path toward the Devourer has begun.
Yes, when the 5 tribes unite, we've done all this.
Now the details don't exactly line up, and this all happened before Frak was even born. He's not a part of that story, but he is the Serpentine Ninja, and so at least on a thematic level, it feels appropriate for the Serpentine Ninja to be paired with the princess with the story of the Serpentine. Raya's goal is also to bring back Kumandra, which is all of the lands come together united as one front.
And bring my Ba back?
and bring all of Kumandra back.
She's about unity, her goals are about unity, the movie is about unity, and Frack also very directly represents unity. From his parents being of 2 different tribes, his friends being of all different species, and his jumping around to different factions to prove that anyone can be brought into the fold. They also both share a deep respect for higher authorities. Raya has a great sense of reverence for her ancestors, her father, for greater powers outside of her control. And Frack similarly really responds to the authority figures around him. He has that understanding that he still has a lot to learn from the world and is just here willing to learn and improve as best he can.
Maybe this is what you were teaching me earlier, Lloyd? I don't remember teaching anything about bizarre puppet fighting.
Also notable about Frack, he is not the main character. No matter which way you slice it, he was a side character who kind of surprise jump scare joined the main cast. And you can very much feel that it can be difficult to find princesses with this side character quality about them. Even the ones that are literally side characters, they actually tend to have the most main character vibe. But Raya's story, weirdly enough, puts this idea front and center. The climax of this movie, which is genuinely touching to me. I think it's really good. Raya, our main character, realizes that the only way to save the world is if she is not the one who does it. She willingly accepts her sort of like proto-death and just hopes that the resources which her sacrifice gives the others will result in them doing what needs to be done. And they do. It's a really pretty sequence and it does a great job of displaying the movie's theme. And if this isn't an arc about being a side character, I don't know what is. Additionally, the person who does end the crisis is Raya's childhood friend Namari, who had the whole surprise evil turn, kind of, but not really, which exactly mirrors everything that happens with Eren in season 2 and 3, who also happens to have been friends with Frack since childhood. Also, I would be a bit remiss if I didn't mention both of these characters are probably most likely to be seen as annoying by their fan bases. I have nothing in common with people who find Frack annoying, but they do exist, and I acknowledge it is an acquired taste.
Intelligent George claims gravity is made up.
Can you prove it's not?
Y'all know I like talking about Frack on this channel. This is not the first time it's happened, and it is not going to be the last. Yeah, we're starting to get room temperature again. It's not great. And that brings us almost to the end here. Who all do we have left?
I'm Snow White.
Snow White, the princess?
Yes.
You know, there's been an obvious pairing for Snow White lurking in the wings this whole time. I didn't want to pair her off too quickly. Snow is our originator, the one who started it all. She is the supreme matriarch of not only the Disney princesses, but all of Disney feature animation. She's the youngest of our canonical princesses, being only 14, but she's also the oldest in era, her film being released in 1937. Because of the time in which she was created, she does feel like the oldest out of all of our princesses. If there is a grandma lurking among this group, it is Snow. Over time, she has also gained a little bit of a violent edge to her character.
Let's do this!
Her cartoonish cheeriness has been manipulated into a mask to cover her near psychotic impulses. This has stuck to her characterization in a way which feels weirdly appropriate. First of all, she's always been a total drama queen. And if someone with this suffocating amount of bubblegum in their soul did go through as traumatic an experience as she did, I don't think it's unrealistic for her to end up like this.
Now remember, no apples!
she strikes me as remarkably similar to Minnie Mouse, the Disney brand's other matriarch heroine. Both fairly simple, easy to grasp characters who over time have just absorbed all of the parody and criticism that has been lobbed at them, incorporating it into their being, while also never fully losing track of their roots, resulting in these perfectly pristine examples of gracefully aged and yet eternally youthful femininity who would murder someone if they deserved it. And they would get away with it too, because you better bet they know how to clean a crime scene. Is any of this making sense? There is only one person in our Ninjago lineup who can effectively mirror the eternally youthful and charmingly dated one who started it all and has probably committed more crimes than any of us will ever know. Master Wu.
Is this what you all think?
Yes, absolutely.
Sadly, you are all wrong.
The leader of our team, who built it from the ground up, who is only ever 1,000,000 years old or a literal child. I mean, for crying out loud, they both adopt 7 misfits and teach them valuable life lessons and skills. Send it. It's perfect, folks. Okay, so which of the 7 of the ninja team are which dwarves? We have... Let's see. Nia could maybe be grumpy. Lloyd could be happy. Dopey? Who's Dopey? Zane is our current comic relief. He could be dopey. Cole is sleepy. Cole is definitely sleepy. There aren't as many strong connections as I thought there would be. Bashful could be Jay, because he gets flustered about romance stuff. Doc could maybe be Kai. Who's left? We have, I guess that makes Pixel Sneezy? Because Pixel is sick! And that leaves us with just one character left in each group, a default pairing of Ryu and Aurora. You know, I kind of think it works. Aurora is a tough one to match because her cultural impact has essentially just been blunted to she's sleepy, which is entirely unfair. Though she does have less screen time to establish herself than others do, she does a lot with the time that she has. She catches on to the fairies' scheming about her birthday, but willingly plays along with them to try and make them happy.
I wonder if she suspects. Of course not.
The way she tells her stories to the animals is framed so that she's like pulling a little prank on them. They do bits together, like that's their relationship.
It's my dream, Prince.
Everything is done with a wink and a smirk. Her design and presence shows just how elegant and composed she is. A woman designed to be perfect and which all forces of nature dance around. And so, she is not the protagonist of her tale. We are mainly privy to how those around her react to such a divine presence. When she is caught up in the rules of magic and the fate of the universe, how do those outside of these forces choose to aid her? Ryu is a dragon. He cannot talk. Our inciting incident in Dragon's Rising is our characters helping him escape. He provides some sort of power to Sora, which never goes 100% explained. He chooses to stay with our cast for reasons not quite tangible. He communicates with those in other realms. He has a unique sense of the people nearby. He is never the focal character in the story, but he does push it forward surprisingly surprisingly often with his connections to larger powers. There's a great deal of speculation that by the end of the series, he will become a Source Dragon, the highest beings in the Ninjago universe. And even if that doesn't happen, there's a reason this speculation cropped up, right? He has this attachment to the greater world, to fate and destiny and the cosmic balance.
This dragon with you, who is it?
Oh, this is our friend Ryu. I told him I was coming here and he seemed excited to meet you.
He is more the story than he is a character, and I think that makes him a strangely excellent match for Aurora. Two characters who are constantly in flux in their appearance. Two characters who often get flattened and dismissed by their fandoms simply because of how little they speak, but who are both more intertwined in things greater than the rest of the cast. Perhaps even making them more than the rest of their cast. Also, they both get drained of their energy almost to death and rest cinematically while the rest of their friends fight elaborate hell monsters to wake them up with magic which is wistfully unclear and or metaphorical. So there is that small similarity.
He's always been a special dragon.
So, those are all of my selections, 13 for 13. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I'd be very interested to hear how your pairings differ from mine in the comments below. Now, there are a few edge cases that it would be a little remiss if I didn't address. While the Disney princesses are a defined group, the Ninjago Ninja are less so. The person who perhaps should have been included on this list the most being Garmadon. He starts out a show villain before becoming a sensei for the team in season 3 and then dying in season 4. And during that time, he was not operating in like an allyship capacity. He was leading the team, on the team, living with the team. He was definitely a part of the ninja team. And while I might have counted him if that was where things ended, he also comes back later to become a show villain again before then shifting into being a team ally, this time very directly not on the team, just aiding the team.
I knew you would come looking for me again to save your lives.
And with the majority of his time acting in these other capacities, I feel like it was a fair call to leave him off. Especially considering I don't really think there's an argument for Misako as a ninja, even though she's spent probably just as much time, if not more, living with the ninja and going on missions with them. For good measure, you can put down Garmadon as Esmeralda, someone who was in the club and then got kicked out very early on. It would also feel a little incomplete if I didn't mention the Frozen girls. They're in the princess room in the Wreck-It Ralph 2 scene. It would be a shame if we did not pair them up. And luckily, I think these have some real easy answers. Girl who hides her powers from her society because she thinks they're dangerous and wrong and she feels shame about having them, before realizing that they can be used for good and sort of coming out of the closet. Oh hey, look, it's Euphrasia, character voted most likely to randomly become a ninja next season.
Maybe I could teach you?
Really?
Isn't that convenient? And Anna, known as the naive one without powers who goes out to try and help someone and almost gets herself killed, has a partner who is a little more on the jaded side. It's Little Nelson, the honorary purple ninja.
Just doing our part, sir, like everyone else.
If we are including everyone who is allowed into the princess room, we have to pair up Vanellope, everyone's favorite disgusting comic relief character. Oh, wouldn't you know, Ninjago has one of those too.
I wish to become a real spinjitzu ninja, like for permanent.
And that leaves us with only one edge case remaining, the other character who was kicked out of the Disney Princess Club, only to go on and form her very own club, Tinkerbell. And if we're being honest with ourselves, I think her match is fairly obvious. Lord Roz.
They shall be a sacrifice to the blood moon.
I won't be taking any further questions at this time. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let's see if I can justify this. Okay, so he runs a rival team to the ninja. That's the first obvious one. Let's see. They both have anger problems. Roz is an angry dude, and Tinkerbell, that's like one of her defining personality traits, is she has a short temper. They both like come from an entirely separate realm. So Tinkerbell is from Pixie Hollow, which is sort of separated from the rest of the world, and then Roz is not from Ninjago, he's from Chima. Oh, I've got it. Roz flies. He floats like a fairy. When he's talking with his master, he becomes a little pixie to talk to his master and floats in the air like Tinkerbell.
What is he doing?
I have no idea.
Boom. Do you need any more evidence? We got about to the feeling awesome mark. I hoped I would maybe get a little further down, but I think I did pretty good. Stay hydrated.